Hey, welcome back. I'm Ibnul Jaif Farabi, and this is The Great Conversation. You know, I was on the subway the other day, heading downtown, and I saw something that made me smile. A man, probably in his 70s, was standing near the doors, dressed in a full, immaculate three-piece suit. Not a common sight on the 4 train. He had a pocket watch, a cane, and he was staring straight ahead with this profound, dignified expression, like he was a diplomat on his way to treaty negotiations, not someone about to get off at Union Square. And everyone around him in their puffer jackets and headphones just accepted it. He was in his world. We were in ours, and the train carried us all forward. It got me thinking about the fine line between eccentricity and delusion, between living by a personal code and being completely out of touch with reality. And that, of course, made me think of a certain gentleman from La Mancha. So, let's talk about Don Quixote, the gaunt, aging nobleman who read so many chivalric romances that he lost his mind, declared himself a knight-errant, and set out to revive chivalry in a world that had long since moved on. For 400 years, we've called his condition quixotic. We say he's mad. The windmills are giants. The inns are castles. The peasant girl Aldonza Lorenzo is the noble lady Dulcinea del Toboso. Case closed, right? But what if we've been reading it wrong? What if the real question isn't whether Don Quixote was insane, but whether his particular brand of insanity was, in fact, a profound and deliberate kind of sanity? Let's start with the obvious. The book itself tells us he's mad. Cervantes gives us a clear medical diagnosis right at the start. His brain dried up from too much reading and too little sleep. He suffers from a fundamental failure to perceive the material world as it is. This is the engine of the comedy. We laugh at the disconnect. We laugh when he gets pummeled by the windmill sails. But comedy is often just tragedy viewed from a safe distance. And if you listen closely to Quixote, not just to the absurdity of his actions, but to the content of his speeches, something remarkable happens. The madman starts making more sense than anyone else. Consider his worldview. Don Quixote lives by a strict, self-imposed code of ethics. He champions justice, defends the weak, honors women, and serves an idealized, non-corporeal concept of love in Dulcinea. He values generosity, courage, and faithfulness. Now, look at the sane world he moves through. It's a world of cynical innkeepers, cruel nobles, convicts who just go back to crime, and goatherds with petty squabbles. It's a world governed by self-interest, greed, and a brutal, grinding realism. In this context, who is more morally bankrupt? The man who believes in impossible virtues, or the society that believes in no virtues at all? Quixote's madness is a direct, radical protest against the moral poverty of his age. He isn't failing to see reality. He's refusing to accept its terms. This brings me to his most famous companion, Sancho Panza. Sancho is our anchor, the voice of earthy, practical sanity. He sees the windmills for what they are. He wants tangible rewards, an island to govern, a steady salary. Their dialogue is the core of the book, and it's here that Cervantes performs his greatest magic trick. Slowly, imperceptibly, the two begin to infect each other. Sancho, despite all his eye-rolling, starts to play along. He humors the fantasy, and in doing so, he starts to absorb its values. He begins to show a loyalty and a compassion that go beyond mere self-interest. And Quixote, in his rare, quiet moments of clarity, he shows a devastating awareness of his own condition. There's a heartbreaking scene where he admits that if he could, he would produce the beautiful Dulcinea from thin air just to prove his devotion to the skeptical Sancho. He knows the disconnect. He just chooses the more beautiful truth. That's the key word, chooses. This is where my own perspective as an engineer and an entrepreneur comes in. We talk about reality as if it's a fixed, objective data set. But we all construct our realities every single day. We choose what to focus on, what narrative to believe in, what mission to dedicate ourselves to. Starting a company is, to many people, a quixotic endeavor. You're tilting at windmills in a competitive market. You're seeing a castle where others see a rundown inn. You have to believe in a future that doesn't yet exist, with a faith that looks like madness to anyone not on the journey. Don Quixote didn't just lose his mind, he built a new one. He architected a reality with a clearer, more beautiful moral architecture than the one he was given. Isn't that what all great artists, visionaries, and reformers do? So, was he sane? By clinical 17th century or even 21st century standards, probably not. He had a psychosis. But if we define sanity more broadly, as the ability to live a life of meaning, purpose, and consistent ethical action, then Don Quixote starts to look like the sanest person in the book. His folly is purposeful. His delusion is generative. It creates adventures, friendships, stories, and a legacy that outlives all the sane characters who simply accepted the world as it was. He dies, of course, recanting his fantasies, returning to the common reality. And it's the saddest moment in the novel. The moment he becomes sane, he ceases to be Don Quixote, and the light goes out of the world. Here's my takeaway, the one I'm still chewing on from that subway ride. We all have a Don Quixote and a Sancho Panza inside us. The part that dreams of impossible giants, and the part that sees only creaking machinery. The healthiest mind might not be the one that ruthlessly clings to consensus reality. It might be the one that can consciously, deliberately, and with a touch of grace, choose which windmills are worth charging. To build a personal code so strong that it bends your perception of the world, not the other way around. That's not madness. That's integrity. Thanks for joining me for this conversation. I've been Ibnul Jaif Farabi, and this has been The Great Conversation, a production of Light Not Studios. If this idea resonated with you, if you've ever chosen to see a castle in a rundown inn, I'd love for you to share this episode with someone. It helps more people find these conversations. You can find more episodes and learn more about the stories behind them at our home online, lightnotstudios.com. Until next time, keep questioning the reality you're given.